Welcome to Radio Today, broadcasting in Johannesburg.
It's 1 o'clock. It's time for Snips and Snippets.
It's the top of the morning to hear from the Radio Today studios. I know what you're saying, it's not morning. Well, it is morning.
I have in the studio
two of the band members. Can I call you band members?
Sure,
Cast
band members.
Essence of Ireland, and it's playing at the Mandela Theatre. And it tells the story of Irish immigration, and it's told through Irish folk songs. Are they all Irish folk songs?
There's some Irish folk songs in there, but then there's also quite a lot of original music that's been composed.
But of course it's much more than that. I have in the studio, let me introduce my guests before the show ends. I think it would be a good idea. Ged Leanne is the creative director and lead vocalist, and Leanne Thoreau's, but anyway, Leanne Thoreau's is a fiddle player and vocalist.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about the structure of the show, Ged.
Yeah, well, it's a story about centres around emigration. Two young people meet in Ireland, fall madly in love in the 50s, 40s, and due to the sort of financial climate, Sean has to leave Ireland to find work in England initially, and to get some money together to build a life for him and his future wife Cora. But then circumstances take over, and he ends up going to America. And the story is told through a series of letters that are sent from Sean to Cora over a period of about 55, 60 years. But it's very much about a love affair between one man and his country.
Good heavens, I got a cold chill when you said that, because one of my favourite plays is a two-handed play by an American called A.R. Gurney, but that sounds Irish.
Yeah.
A play called Love Letters, which traces... You've heard
Yes,
of it?
I have heard of it, yeah.
And it's particularly poignant in the play to understand that all these letters are talking about times that they've had together.
Yes.
But most of their lives they are in fact apart, and yet this very strong bond with letters.
Yeah, I mean, at the top of the show, right at the very beginning of the show, it says that on Sean's death, when Sean died, who's the main character, his granddaughter was left a box of letters, and then that's how the story develops. But if you think about it, if she was left a box of letters, they were never sent.
This is true.
So
Or else they've been kept, they've been sent, and...
No, he never sent them. He wrote when he left to go to America, he wrote the letters as almost a diary for his love of the person he left behind. But then that very much changed into a metaphor for Ireland. So when he was writing to Cora, telling him about his new life, he was actually writing to Ireland, saying, this is what I've done. This is what
Mary,
I've done.
this London's a wonderful sight.
Exactly, yeah. And
is that song in there?
We used the melody of it over one of the voiceovers, but that's a fascinating story, because the lyrics of the song were actually found on the back of a postcard.
I remember that. I had forgotten it, but I had remembered
A guy got this postcard in like a junk shop, antique shop, and on the back of it was this letter. Oh, Mary, this London's a wonderful sight, where people are working by day and by night. And the guy basically just took it as it was, and it's one of the greatest Irish songs.
Yeah, just for my listener who doesn't know all songs in the world, just in case he doesn't know it, that's a song called The Mountains of Mourne. And it has become, I think, a standard. I always thought it was a traditional song, and you've corrected me there.
Yeah, it is a standard song now, yeah.
Another American Irishman did a lovely version of that too, Don McLean.
Don McLean, fantastic vocalist.
Yeah. Anyway, Ged, you've talked too much now for a while. Let's talk to Leanne. As I'm looking at you, very different generations. Ged looks about my age, which...
About 27?
27, whereas Leanne looks about 4, by that yardstick. Now, what interests me, of course, is you both have Irish connections. And Ged, you were born in Dublin. Aren't you glad I told you that? And but Leanne, born in London, but with family in County Donegal.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Born and raised in London, and my mum's from Donegal in a place called Ardra,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful place. Lots of music happening back there. And I always go back there every now and then to visit my grandmother and family and everything like that.
Now, your accent's very interesting to me, because if I didn't know you grew up in London and only went to Ireland on holidays, I would have said you're pure Irish.
You won't be the only one.
I'm sure I wouldn't be. Yeah. Now, you come from a musical family. You're steeped in music since you were growing up, but you resisted it for a while, didn't you?
I did for quite a while. My dad was always playing bluegrass music, and my mum was always singing a lot of Irish folk songs and everything like that. And at the age of 14, I decided to take up the violin, and I just woke up one day and it just hit me. I just wanted to start playing. Don't know what came over me.
That was pretty much the age I took up guitar. What about you? How old were you?
10, I think I was, about 10
Oh,
or
you're
11.
ahead of us.
Yeah. I must be a lot older.
So if you took up, so you've been playing about 80 years then?
About 84 years this September, yeah.
And Leanne, your father is a pretty renowned, I wouldn't say musician, although I'm sure
He does play, yeah.
he plays music, but if my listeners ever heard of a dobro guitar, or what's sometimes called a resonance guitar, tell us about your father and that. I mean, I could tell you, but the whole point of you coming all the way to South Africa is to come into the studio and tell me about it.
Cool. The dobro, it's a guitar-shaped instrument. You play it on your lap, and you play it with a metal bar,
Right.
and use it to make the sliding noise.
So it has an open tuning.
Open tuning, yeah. And he's been playing that for quite a long time, and he's learned how to build the instrument. He does it really well, and he builds mandolins as well.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of
You're being
percussion.
modest. He's one of the world's leading experts in making these guitars, isn't he?
Yes, I think so.
You can Google Ced Thoreau, C-E-D. Now, is the sound of it anything like the pedal steel guitar? Which you also play in your lap with a slide?
The dobro is more of an acoustic instrument. With the
Right.
pedal steel, they do sound similar. You've got that sliding effect,
Yes.
but they do sound quite different to each other.
Which most musicians hear, if they want the sliding effect, it's the end of a broken bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, enough talk about music. Put your headphones on,
Oh.
and we're going to play you a little snip of music and see if you can identify the music and the artist. And as usual, as my listener will know, 3 points if you identify the music on the first snip, 2 on the second, 1 on the third, and just whoever speaks first. And here we go. Let's hear it, Eddie.
Oh.
I've stumped them on the first one. They're looking blank. I am so proud
Oh.
because this is an Irish musician. No? Let's have snip number 2, Eddie.
Oh, Christa Berg.
Christa Berg. That's a point
Christa
for Ged, for the artist, but the name
Don't Pay the Ferryman?
Don't Pay the Ferryman.
Yes!
2 more points for Ged. So Ged has leapt into the lead. But Leanne, you've got a lot of chance to get some. Have you heard of Christa Berg? I think it's before your time.
I think so.
Have you really not? Do you not know who Christa Berg is?
No.
And she calls herself an Irish. Oh dear. Well then, this is your round. Ged. His real name?
Oh. Is the surname Burke?
It's not Burke. No.
Oh, no.
The De Berg comes from somewhere else, which is my next question.
Oh.
I was going to give you 3 points, 1 for each part of the name.
Well, De Burke is the Gaelic for Burke.
It's not De Berg.
Oh.
Come on, his first name you could probably guess. You can probably guess his first name. His full first name, Chris De Berg. So his 3 names would be something, something, something. The first one being
Christopher.
Christopher. Thank you, Ged. Another point for you.
Declan.
Declan, no. If you're going to guess, it will be here all day. It's actually Christopher John Davison. But and I know you're not going to know the answer to the next question because we've discussed it. He got the name De Berg from his maternal grandfather,
Oh, right.
General Sir Eric De Berg. Now, while Chris De Berg's wife Diane was recuperating in a hospital from a broken neck during a horse riding accident in 1994, what was Chris doing?
Writing a song.
No.
Lady in Red.
No, he wasn't.
No.
No, he wasn't.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure.
No, you're making this up.
Lady in Red was before that. I think Lady in Red was about 1988 to 89. Because I remember having a girlfriend at that time. She loved the song, and I bought her the CD. So we'll put that to bed. 1994, he was having an affair with his children's 19-year-old Irish nanny, Marisa Morgan. What has De Burgh done successfully 16 times?
Oh, it's got to be some kind of an award.
It's not an award, no. It's
Oh, he's. Oh, I do know this. Oh, it's too early in the day. I'm not usually out of bed by now.
I can give you a clue by saying he is known to be very sensitive about criticism. No.
Oh,
Much-
no.
much dead,
Pass
yes,
on
no.
that, yeah.
He has pursued and won 16 defamation actions. Yeah, let's move away from
Yeah.
Mr. Berg. The song Don't Pay the Ferryman was actually 1982.
Right.
Yeah. And what was sold for the first time in Japan in 1982?
In Japan.
Yeah, millions of these, billions of these have probably been sold by now. But the first one was sold in Japan in 1992.
Karaoke machine.
No, not a karaoke machine. A karaoke machine might need. Well, it's kind of one. No, it's not really. I'll tell you, it was the first CD player
Really?
in 1982. What was launched in the UK in 1982?
Oh, I have no idea.
Channel 4. Okay. and finally, before we have a break and play the song, what did Michael Fagan do? That sounds like an Irish name.
Michael
In
Fagan.
1982.
Michael Fagan, as in the Doobie Brothers.
No. He went to visit somebody.
Oh, he sat on the Queen's bed.
Quite right.
Yes.
That's another one.
Yeah.
That's another one for Ged. Well, as we go into our first break, Ged is leading by 5 points to, let me just count up how many Leanne's got. And here on radio today, it's Snips and Snippets. I'm Jonathan Taylor, and next to me is the ubiquitous Eddie Masachi, who is making us sound very pretty now. But back to the essence of Ireland. How long has this show been going in its present form, or is this still the original form?
This is still the original form, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone through some changes over the last, say, 4 years, and I think the 2013 production is the most inventive that we've had so far.
Yeah. What kind of changes have you made over time?
Originally, when the show came out, originally 4 years ago, it was very much an Irish dance show.
Right.
Very much in the vein of Riverdance, Lord of the Dance.
All feet and ponytails.
All feet and ponytails. And the band were really a secondary sort of thing in the show. But over the last sort of 2 years, the band is now more of a cast with the dancers. So there's really no distinction between the dancers and the musicians now.
Right.
We're all part of the same.
And are there dancers, actors, musicians, whatever, playing the actual characters?
We do, yeah. I mean, we have our two lead dancers, Richard and Sam. They play a young Cora and Sean.
Yeah.
And then Katie Saunders, who's our female vocalist, she plays Sean's granddaughter, Cora.
The one who found the letters.
And they found the letters. And then the rest of the cast, myself, Leanne and Adam and Mike, we
tell the story.
we tell
through
the
the
story,
music.
yeah. I mean, in our brochure, we're billed as the Shanachie, which is Irish for the storytellers.
Okay.
So collectively, the band is called Shanachie, and we just tell through the music the story of it.
Talking about the Irish and the drinking songs and the drinking culture, you told me something before we went on air that I never knew, and that is Irish traditional drinking music is not that old.
No, it's not. It really sort of really originated in the 50s as Irish people emigrated to England, really. So the pubs in Birmingham, Manchester, Coventry, right away through the UK, became sort of the hub of people congregating and meeting after work, and that's where sort of the pub songs grew out from.
Yeah.
And probably the most prolific songwriter of the pub ballad would be Dominic Behan,
Okay.
Brendan Behan's brother.
Yes.
And Dominic wrote some of the McAlpine's Fusiliers, the Hot Asphalt, real sort of hardcore drinking work songs.
You see, I was under the impression, songs like Wild Rover, Whiskey in the Jar, I was under the impression those were traditional, anonymous old songs, but am I wrong about that?
They were around in one form or another for many years, but it was with the bands like the Dubliners or the Clancy Brothers, who were immigrant bands, they went outside of Ireland and
Right.
done the folk clubs, and they drew on their repertoire,
Yes.
and then made it, because folk music is an Irish folk music. The ballad is an urban music. It's not a country music. It's an urban, so it's about cities. It's about sort of that urban.
I would imagine any music that's going to become fairly popular would have to be urban, because if it's out in the rural areas,
Yeah.
it may be popular in one little county or one little town, but if it's not moving around and kind of cross-pollinating with other people, it's just kind of
It is going to stay there. So I think as Irish music grew, then there was more repertoire to draw on from sort of there's distinctive playing. Leanne will know more than me. You can tell by when someone plays the fiddle which county they come from, because the style is very,
Foreign
very
style.
different.
Can you do that, Leanne? You know the styles? Do you want to tell us?
Yeah.
Is it possible to tell us on the air without an instrument here how the styles differ?
I play like a Donegal style of fiddling, so that would usually consist of a lot of ornamentation, like trills,
Yeah.
a lot of vibrato, and usually like the bowing style. It's very fast and aggressive. You're not using long bow strokes as much. You're really like, it's a very.
So if you did that song, "The Devil Came Down to Georgia," that would be the style of fiddling.
That would be the style
you
of
might play,
fiddling, yeah. Very
Talk
fast.
about the devil's trill.
Yeah.
It's always, whenever the devil plays a violin, it's always that very fast and very trilly, and
Yeah,
he's a very good violin player, isn't he?
yeah.
And some other styles?
They differ throughout each county in Ireland. The Kerry style of fiddle playing, you usually get a lot of music's called slides. You're using a lot of like slidey notes, and the bowing's very elegant down there. I wouldn't know too much about that style because I've not really played it before, but it differs throughout each county.
You play that devil style.
Yeah.
Mostly. I must admit, it does seem like that would be a lot more fun.
It is. It is. It's challenging and it's exciting. It gets the energy going in the song, doesn't it?
It does, and if you go over to Dublin, which is on the east coast, the style of fiddle playing there is more classical.
Yeah.
It's very square, very box, because there was the hub of classical music in Dublin, so the styles were.
Yeah.
I know in Dublin, when fiddle players came from Donegal or Sligo or Kerry, they were also considered to be a bit mad because the style of playing was very expressive,
Yeah.
where it was very boxy and still beautiful,
Yes.
but it was definitely different styles. So I think as Irish traditional music grew, there was all these little elements came in. So the immigrant stories, there was the distinctive playing of different counties, and then also the content of what people were trying to say within the music. So if you come from a beautiful place with green fields and babbling brooks, your music is going to sound like that.
Yeah.
If you come from a place where it's really sort of heavy machinery and stuff, your music is going to sound like that. So
Eddie, I think that explains Kwela and Makanga. Have you heard much South African street music?
not really.
Not in the street, they don't play that much in the
not
street
really. I mean,
anymore, but,
We'd like to.
sort of my first introduction really to African music is it Johnny Clegg.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was sort of hearing that. Was that 80s? Would it be?
Yeah, that would have been, he started around about the 80s. That's very much kind of Western folk music and Zulu traditional music
Yeah.
and street music fusion.
Yeah.
As against Mango Groove, who I think play Kwela and play Makanga, but they play it in a modern pop style.
Yeah.
And it's really just kind of beefed up.
Yeah.
But Clegg is very big, yeah.
That was kind of the first introduction. Then, of course, Gracelands with Paul Simon. Then was sort
Yes,
of that
he
exploded.
exposed a lot of that.
And Ladysmith,
Black Mamba, yeah.
fantastic. Vocally as a vocalist, it's stunning.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
And of course, I don't know if you know that, but they're all family. They're all brothers and
I
cousins.
believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it is quite amazing. But it shares a lot with Irish music. You find that there are groups like everyone's
Clancy
related.
Brothers,
The Clancy Brothers, the
as you
Fury
mentioned
Brothers,
before.
and Davy Arthur, and there's lots of family. Clanad, they're all family. So there's a history of family sort of music. And I
Well,
think-
let's listen to a bit more. Put your headphones on.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go again.
Ooh.
Here we go again. Now, this is definitely a voice I'm pretty sure you will have heard. I think we're starting with the instrumental introduction though first. Eddie Snip, number one.
Oh.
Any ideas?
Thin Lizzy.
No, it's not Thin
No.
Lizzy. It's not even Fat Lizzy. Let's play number 2, please, Eddie. Very successful Irish singer, artist,
Oh.
spanning I think the 60s
Yeah.
through the 90s. No.
Oh, no, hold on. Joe Dolan.
Joe Dolan.
Yes, yes, the man from Mullingar.
That's you've just answered. You've just ruined my next question.
Oh, sorry.
No. I lie. I didn't. Why did Joe not fly? Yeah, it is in fact Joe Dolan. Oh, we need the name of the song though.
Oh.
And we've got one snip to play to. Let's snip number 3, Eddie.
I don't even know.
No.
Leanne, I can excuse, but.
It's not one of his big hits.
No, it's not. I wanted to try and avoid those because I think I've got something coming a little bit later, which you will get too easily. So I don't want to make it too easy. You know, it's called "The Most Wanted Man in the USA."
Alright, no.
Joe Dolan is the only Irish singer to achieve something through the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. What was that?
Number 1 singles in Ireland.
Not number 1 in Ireland, no, but similar, close. I'm tempted to give you half a point, but I don't have any half points on my score here. I'll tell you, he's the only Irish singer to reach the top 10
Oh, well,
in the
they.
1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But why did he not fly Aer Lingus between 1976 and 1978?
Oh,
You see, you don't live in Ireland, so it probably didn't make as big news in England as it would have in
No.
Ireland. I would imagine that this would have been. He was banned from the airline.
What?
Yeah, there was a confrontation on board. He and his party were drinking quite a bit.
Really? I find that very hard to believe.
Very hard. One of those rare instances where he just went completely out of character. He was asked to sit down and he refused, and he got banned from the airline. It was lifted after the airline negotiated. The airline negotiated with the Star in 1978 following his continued references to it on stage. What opened officially on the 6th of September 2010 in Mullingar?
Oh, I do know this. Oh,
It's not a show, by the way.
no, it's. Is it the Joe Dolan Visitor Centre?
No, it's the Joe Dolan something.
It is, I know it.
I'll
Oh,
give you a clue. It's 540 meters long.
oh,
Peter.
no, oh, I do know this, I've been there. Oh,
You might have walked across it.
Bridge.
A bridge.
The
It's
Joe
the
Dolan
Joe Dolan
Bridge.
Bridge. Leanne, at the moment you look like equaling Jodie Wayne's record. But yeah. Okay, in 1975, when the song was released, what did the British Conservative Party choose for the first time?
In 1975.
Yeah, the British Conservative Party chose something for the first time.
Oh, well, Margaret Thatcher was 76. Margaret Thatcher,
It was the
female
first
leader, yeah.
female leader. Quite right. I don't want to do this, Leanne. I want you to get some points here.
We're very competitive.
What reopened for the first time in 1974 since 1967? It was closed in 67 and it reopened again in 1975.
Oh.
No,
It
it wasn't the Dublin Opera House.
Oh.
Yeah, try not to think Irish on this.
No, right, okay.
Yeah, my listener is screaming at you because he knows. I'm going to have to tell you because otherwise we run out of time. It was the Suez Canal.
Oh.
And finally, what did Motorola obtain a patent for? the very first of in 1975?
Cell phone.
I'll give it to you. It's a portable mobile phone. Quite right. So, here, at the moment, Jed is on 9 points. Leanne is on... zero. Let's give her a point. We should go to Ged Graham and Leanne Farose
Leanne, tell us
from the essence of what songs we might expect to hear in the show that we might recognise.
You can expect to hear Wild Rover, Black Velvet Band,
Yeah.
Leaving of Liverpool, Danny Boy. Most of those well-known songs you'll
Yeah.
be guaranteed to hear.
Could you tell us what the design of the stage looks like?
Well, it's blue. It's got a giraffe. No, it's the stage is like a dance performance area, and then we've got risers that come out of the ground, which then house the band, and there's a walk around risers there for the dance.
So it's fairly big and technical.
It's great. It's a great light show, which is brilliant.
Yeah. A cumbersome show to tour.
It
travel?
is a cumbersome tour to travel. It is, but we've got a good crew of people. We've got good sort of engineers and great crew.
And you tour your entire crew? Have you picked up any crew members?
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah, some great guys. Yeah, we've got all the crew and all the guys at the Mandela Theatre are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're really welcoming. But we've got an extra 2 guys, which is Moosey and Johnson, who are our monitoring engineer and AV guy.
Okay.
And they're the coolest guys. They really are. We went out for a few beers.
And you obviously bring your own sound man. And
we
your
do.
own sound system.
We've got Kevin Snuggs, who's our sound engineer, and then Martin over here. It's very quiet in the background. He's our lighting designer.
I'm pointing at Martin now, just for the benefit of my listener, so he knows who it is. You're the lighting, are you, Martin?
Yes.
You can come closer and talk if you like.
Come on, Martin, don't be shy.
Tell us about the lighting plot. Tell us about the lighting design. What's special about it?
The designs, I've tried to mix it in with what's happening on stage. If there's a rocky number, then try and light it to convey the energy that's on stage. Through the lighting as well. If it's a ballady number, then highlight the people who are singing, some silhouette sort of stuff to help try and convey the emotion of people that have left.
Yeah. And what's your background in lighting?
I started doing theatre productions when I was about 14 at high school. I grew up in New Zealand, which is where
That explains your strange Irish accent.
Yes. And then moved to the UK and joined the tour, and this is the 5th tour I've done with them. So I get to know the guys in the band really well, and we have a laugh. And
you kind of become a bit like a family. When
We
you
are
tour
very
back
much like a
home,
family, yeah, very much so. And the lighting and the sound is as important to telling the story as the song. So we really do work as a team because we want to create that. We want to really create the moment. For the dancers, we want to create the moment for the audience, for us, and we couldn't do it, without sort of the expertise of Martin. He's really sort of brought some of the numbers all of the numbers to life. It's given it an extra dimension, which sometimes you can go and see a show and it could be just a series of flashing lights which don't actually mean anything, but the thought process has been, we've really sort of worked at what we want, and Martin's come up with some fantastic New Zealand people. So that's fine. So, but it's our show is really about people who have moved away from Ireland.
Right. So what you need in Ireland is a show called The Ambience of Australia.
Yeah, that's what we want. The amber of Australia.
Or Nuance of New Zealand.
Yeah.
So more nuances. Let's put the headphones on. Go to number 4. I'll go back to number 3 if there's time. But I do want to get number 4 in this time. What's up to my headphones here? Let's have snip number 1, please, Eddie.
Just keep on talking.
I'll keep on talking. Eddie's lost. Eddie has lost the tape. He's wrapped it around his neck and he's throttling himself with it. Are you ready, Eddie? You ready, Eddie? Let's hear this. Now I'm going to give you a little clue in saying that this little section you are hearing it being played backwards. I thought, I thought it would be far too easy for you if I played it forwards.
Oh man,
Sounds familiar.
it does sound familiar.
So glad I got you at least just on one of these snips, because here's snip number 2, and I think you're going to get it right away.
Oh.
I'm loving the frustration on Jed's face, because he's mentioned these artists, he's mentioned a whole lot of personnel involved in
Liverpool Lou.
Liverpool.
Oh,
Yes.
I knew it.
Yes.
True. What's so? Why didn't you say it?
Because I
Leanne?
wasn't too sure.
Oh well, we don't. I don't deduct. I don't deduct points for wrong answers. So if you think of it, just fly out. And this will be a difficult one. The name of the artist?
Sean Cannon.
Huh?
Yeah, it is Sean Cannon
Is he a member of this group?
of the Dubliners.
There we go. The Dubliners is what I wanted. That's another one for Jed. I'm going to stop counting. And okay, we've mentioned this. I think we've mentioned this before. Be sharp, Leanne, because I know you know this, and you've got to try and get in front of him. He is dominating the score. He is dominating the conversation, but you are dominating other things. Who wrote the song?
Go on.
Dominic Bean.
Quite right.
Yes.
Quite right. What inspired it?
Oh, he was living in Liverpool, and
Yeah.
it's a woman of ill repute, I think.
Well, that's not according to the research I did said something else, and I couldn't see the connection, so I looked up a few other sites, and they kind of agreed, and it wasn't inspired by a woman.
Oh, well, you got me now.
It was inspired by the clock of St. Nicholas's Parish Church, Pierhead, Liverpool. And I was hoping that you would be able to provide the connection for me,
No.
which, other than he lived in Liverpool. Now, I always thought that was a traditional song, and it was when I was researching for the show today, it surprised me to hear that it was actually written by somebody and not that long ago. And
No,
yeah.
it's true, yeah.
Now, and there are a lot of kind of traditional Irish songs which pop up with different lyrics and different versions.
They do. That's sort of, in the folk tradition, it's called a narrative. It's telling a story.
Yeah.
So, before people could read and write, the way of spreading news or telling of a particular event was through song, was through the narrative song.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you would tell the story of, say, Mickey Rooney, who was a highwayman or whatever.
I thought he was an actor.
Yeah, that's the other Mickey Rooney.
Oh.
And they would tell the story, but use an existing recognisable tune.
Right.
So for the listener, it's easier to assimilate the information. So they're aware of the tune. So you'd have a set of lyrics to Scarborough Fair as in an English folk song, but then there'd be another set of lyrics that would tell a different story to it.
Yeah.
So the same as Danny Boy, originally there was very different lyrics to Danny Boy.
So Danny Boy is a traditional song.
Danny Boy is a traditional song.
There's
yeah.
one.
There is. Yeah. Oh, there are plenty. It's just that they were definitely sort of kept in a museum for a number of years, and the explosion in the 50s brought a lot of the songs into sort of the mainstream with like the Dubliners and the Clancy Brothers.
Well, talking about mainstream, this artist was definitely in the mainstream for a while. Headphones on, please. And I'm going to have to move quickly through the questions this time because we don't have that much time, but let's have snip number 1, please, Eddie.
Dana.
Dana what?
Which song? That's sure.
I didn't know what you meant by Dana.
An artist called Dana.
No, it's not Dana.
Oh.
It's not Dana at all. It's play snip number 2, Eddie.
Oh, Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Quite right. That's one for the artist. The name of the song?
Oh, you turned it off.
Play that one again. Eddie. Play that one
Come on,
again.
Eddie. Oh,
And then
no.
it goes into the title of
I know
the
it's.
song.
Oh.
Play number 3, Eddie, for 1 point. Tell me what? Tell me? Tell me.
Tell me what it is.
No?
Leanne.
No. I'm going to have to tell you. It's What's in a Kiss.
What's in a kiss?
Yeah, and it is, of course, Gilbert O'Sullivan,
Yeah.
whose real name is...
Oh, no, I can't.
There's definitely a reference to it in one of his other songs. He refers to his real name in one of his other songs as Uncle somebody. But that's his first name. There's two. There's something O'Sullivan.
No.
His surname is O'Sullivan. No? Raymond Edward.
Oh, no.
Now, he played in a band called Rick's Blues. What instrument did he play in Rick's Blues?
Drum.
Drums! Yes, it is drums. I'm giving vast clues here. And what did Rick Davies later go on to found? He founded another group.
Davies.
A really super group, yeah.
No.
No, Supertramp?
Ah.
Supertramp. There we go, yeah. Gilbert O'Sullivan sued rapper Biz Markie. What for? In 1991.
Sampling. Was it Alone Again Naturally?
Quite right. I'm impressed,
Right.
Jed. I'm really impressed. And I'm impressed, Leanne, that you've let him answer again. I know you knew that, and you're just being kind to him. I know he's going to make it up to you tonight during the show. I know. I don't know what he's going to do.
Neither do I.
Now, What's in a Kiss came out in 1980. What did 3M begin sales of? A product invented by Arthur Fry and Spencer Silver.
Oh, it's tape. It's some kind of tape.
Are there any here? I don't
No,
see.
post-it notes.
Post-it notes. Quite right. Yeah.
He's still with us, Leanne.
I must just tell my listener that today my guests aren't actually competing with each other. They're working together, and Leanne is letting Jed be the spokesman.
Yes.
Yeah. What was born in Mexico, the first of its kind, in 1980? First natural birth of its kind in Mexico.
I do.
No, I don't think you're going to get
No.
it, because it was the first birth in captivity of a giant panda.
Of course it was.
Yeah. And who was the killer clown? He was sentenced to death. And why? And what was his name, and what did he do? 1980. You don't know. It was John Wayne Gacy Jr.
Oh.
Gacy Jr.
Of course it
And he
was.
murdered 33 boys and young men. I don't know why he didn't go for any women or girls, but anyway, he didn't. And that, we come to the end of Snips and Snippets today. Thank you. It's been lovely having you. And hello, Natalie.
Hello.
Natalie Chapman has just walked in. She's going to be presenting the local element in just a few times. Our winner today is Ged Graham with 19 points.
Yes.
And Leanne Thoreau's is hot on his heels, only 18 points behind. Which is not so bad, considering you've come all the way from the UK. Essence of Ireland is on at the Mandela Theatre until Sunday night. Get and see it. From me and my guests, and thank you, Eddie, it's goodbye.